You used to have a family farm, every so many square miles, and now you can go 20 miles between family farms.
The small farmer is a dying breed, hey.
One of the realities of modern agriculture is the family farm is shrinking.
When we sit down to eat, we often forget about the American farmer who provided the meal for us. But they're real people, facing real change in what they do. Every 5 years, the United States Department of Agriculture conducts a survey to gain an accurate picture of producers. The 2017 Census of Agriculture revealed alarming statistics across the state. Iowa reported 86,000 farms, a drop of over 2,500 homesteads from the 2012 census. An emerging struggle for many farmers across the country is the future of their land. Many have children or grandchildren uninterested in taking over operations. Because of this, the average age of the Iowa farmer has risen to 57 years old, with only 9% of current producers under the age of 34. There's also physical evidence of this issue. In Carroll County, for example, old barns and corn cribs are vacant. As homesteads begin to disappear across the landscape, some farmers have realized that farming is not what it once was. Farming over 400 acres, 78-year-old Marvin Hedrick has been left holding on to his generational farm.
I've always wanted to farm ever since I was a kid, and I've been farming since 64. Hey, place is my grandpa's place. He settled it, hey, so, and I'm the third owner of it, hey.
Being 3 generations deep, the Hedrick farm has reached a crossroad they never thought they would face. Being 78, Marvin recognizes his time in the field is limited.
I'll farm as long as I can, and then the boys will take it over. They're gonna keep working for John Deere. So, and if they ever decide to give it up, I'll rent it out. Hey, so.
Contrary to many generational farmers, the Hedrick farm seems to have a plan in place for turning over operations to the next generation. But for his neighbors, this is not the case. Since 1970, Iowa has lost nearly 1/3 of its family farms, with new generations losing interest in this field. Mike Christian, manager of the Buena Vista University farm, works with the next generation every day and has recognized this issue.
Small family farms are just about non-existent. So therefore, all these kids they're just not getting involved with ag like they used to. You used to have a family farm, every so many square miles, and now you can go 20 miles between family farms.
This is not new, however. Mike's family faced this exact problem nearly 15 years ago when he was handed the reins.
I've been around farming my whole life. Went to school in South Dakota State up to 2007, and then my grandpa was going downhill. And it was whether I wanted to farm or the family was going to sell the farm. So I came back and took over in 2007 and been doing it ever since.
But changes in the industry have led to what were once unimaginable price tags on equipment. Maybe the problem is not the next generation's willingness to enter the industry, but the industry blocking them from doing so.
But when I grew up on the family farm, the idea was if you work hard enough, you can succeed. If things aren't going quite right, just work a little harder, press a little harder. And in today's production world, that's no longer the case.
The part about it is it's difficult for the next generation to jump in unless they've got family ties or ties to a farm already, because you virtually can't afford to start in.
I don't know how how these young people can afford to start farming for the price of machinery, hey, so.
New machinery can cost upwards of $750,000, and without family ties to inherit land, a seemingly impenetrable barrier prevents younger generations from even thinking about taking over an operation.
correctly. There's always farmers kind of in and out of the business a little bit, but the economics of it are very much a struggle for a lot of farmers. The cost of everything this year in particular, fertilizer costs have gone up 100% or more. They used to be maybe $400 per ton, and now it's $1,000 per ton. So the cost of everything just keeps going up. Equipment's getting more expensive.
Farmers were pleasantly surprised, though, in the fall of 2021 with one of the best harvests on record. According to the Des Moines Register, corn prices doubled and soybeans increased nearly 60% from a year ago. Combine that with the third best average corn yield and the highest ever recorded soybean yield, and it seemed farmers were well off. While the prices seemed appealing, farmers were quick to realize their profits were going to be offset. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, imports slowed, resulting in lengthy waits during breakdowns. With older equipment, Buena Vista University sophomore and Storm Lake area farmer Joe Langer experienced this firsthand. More significantly, production costs are expected to increase by 7% next spring. Chemical supplies used to produce a profitable crop have begun to diminish to the point that herbicides might not even be available next spring. While the income of the Iowa farmer has grown 26% in the last 2 years, even established farmers are starting to face financial uncertainty. As the price to put food on the table continues to rise, some may wonder why chemicals and other input costs are necessary. To answer this, we must turn back to when family farms first started to dwindle. Throughout the early 1970s, U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Earl Butz began to push the idea of large-scale corporate farming. Through his leadership, corporations took advantage of cheap land prices, purchasing a vast array of acres. This rapid expansion started the upward trend of production costs, leaving family farmers in deeper debt.
What I've noticed is it's a lot more investors coming in and buying up farms, and they're kind of buying the equipment to get some people. They're not really getting started. They're having more of the young generation is actually turned into just laborers for these bigger investors.
Throughout the 1970s, corporate farming persuaded Congress to cut U.S. farm policies and programs aimed at supply management. This prevented overproduction, ensuring profits to small farmers. But with the program slashed, the door was opened for big operations to dominate the industry, making quantity and volume the only profitable means of production.
We did a study a few years back, and this information is a little outdated, but it takes 1,500 acres for a farmer to make the same amount of money, as someone can make in town. And so there's that attractiveness of just going to town, getting a steady paycheck, and not have to worry about the ups and downs.
While corporations have reduced consumer prices, they have simultaneously reduced profits. To meet the demand for volume, farmers have incorporated chemicals to boost yields. Over 99% of Iowa's farmland is sprayed with chemicals just to meet production costs. But to do so comes at a price. The increasing financial burden young farmers must face encourages them to look elsewhere for employment. But Buena Vista University is attempting to reignite interest amongst young generations to get involved in all aspects of agriculture.
The program here at Buena Vista University is in its 4th year of course offerings to students in the area. And the purpose of the program here at BV is to provide a local education that is grounded in the needs and the employment opportunities in Buena Vista County and the surrounding regions.
Offering educational opportunities in ag business, science, and education, the new program prepares students for experiences across the entire ag spectrum. The program aims to combine classroom concepts with real-world experience, offering hands-on opportunities at an agricultural experiment station.
In the real world, the book only goes so far. The classic example I like to say is when you're studying about crop production, it never rains when you're trying to do something in the field in the book.
Turning concepts into realities and combining opportunities across the entire spectrum, Buena Vista University's Ag program develops professionals that not only have the knowledge about production, but the know-how to financial stability.
I think it comes down to having a good economic plan and treating a farm as a business. And farming is a way of life. A lot of people want to treat it as a way of life, but it also has to be a business. It also has to be profitable.
That's really what BV is able to do, is bring that business savvy, bring that science savvy that allows you to not only be very good at producing, but then also understand how do you market it and how do you take it to that next level of management so that you are the most efficient and financially stable as you can be.
While family farms continue to diminish, new programs focused on the professionalism of farming provide an avenue for young farmers to break into the industry. BVU's program is built on not the limitations, but the opportunities that are available in the new agricultural world. Many farmers have accepted that family farms as they existed 2 generations ago will continue to struggle. Corporate farming has slashed consumer prices, but also cut what used to be the livelihoods of many. Younger generations are left questioning if they will be able to take over family operations. But new educational programs have provided a route that allows them to experience the professional training required in a new agricultural world, dominated by technology and markets.